I'm singing in the rain.
Boom.
Just never stops. More rain. We are going to wait it out with you here on Unobstructed Views. Hopefully, as this storm passes through decently quickly, we can get you out to the game. But here we are, SNP Plus, simulcasting. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. This is awesome.
Nowhere.
But nowhere at the same time. Actually, we're in the studio. It's exactly where we are. And joining us, the amazing Mike LaValliere, Spanky, as we all know him. Spanky, it is so good to see you. It's been a little while, but you look great, man. How you doing?
Yeah, things are good. It's a little toasty here in Florida, but I tell you, I love that beautiful Pittsburgh weather that you're getting.
Oh, of course you do. It's just raining all the time.
You brought it, didn't you? It's all you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you called it in. Yeah, thanks a lot.
No. Hey, when we were playing there, it was easily half the games were rain delays. And with that turf, we were there all night long.
Oh, all night. Like, yeah, I guess it makes sense because with the turf, they're just going to try to play anyway. But speaking of that, you started your career with the Cardinals. You got traded over with Andy Van Slyke and Mike Dunn. What was it like getting traded over to Pittsburgh from St. Louis?
Well, I can tell you this. Has anybody lost a pet? They know how I felt at the time. The Cardinals were a great organization. I was going to Pittsburgh that had just lost 100 games 3 or 4 years in a row. They were just getting out of the drug trials, and anybody that's played for the Cardinals knows what a great baseball town that was. So initially, I was pretty much down in the dumps, but that sure changed, and changed in a hurry.
I mean, you had to replace Tony Pena.
Yeah.
That's pretty tough, man. But look, you're a fan favorite. You're a player favorite too. I don't know if that's something a lot of people know. Just being around the Pirates for so long, we all love you. We all love hanging out with you, getting to talk to you. You tell the funniest stories. Michael doesn't like you, but that's because Michael's a catcher. He's just jealous. But what was it like? What was it like taking over and having those big shoes to fill?
Well, you know what? That was my second year in the league.
Oof.
So it was kind of like, hey, what are you going to do? I wasn't going to replace anybody. I was going to be me. And, one of the great things was I was playing for a fabulous manager. And Jim Leyland, immediately made me feel comfortable. Good group of guys. It was just something that it was just a wonderful fit right from the get-go.
And Spank, I got a question about that first day you showed up with Andy Van Slyke. How'd that go? How'd you meet Jim that day, huh?
Yeah, that was sweet. We're in St. Pete, so we're going over the old Skyway, and they had an accident. So we were going to make a great impression, come into the ballpark. Back then, everybody showed up, about 9 o'clock or so. We're going to get there at 7:30, right? Okay, now, there's no cell phones back then. We're stuck on the Skyway. We have no way to tell anybody. We come pulling in about 11:45, and I could just, see everybody go, look at these prima donnas from the Cardinals coming in, doing what they please. I get to my locker. Jim Leyland comes over. He says, hey, welcome to Pittsburgh. We love him, having you here. Would you like number 10? And I was 10 with the Phillies. I was 10 with the Cardinals. And I look, and he's got number 10 on his jersey. And I didn't know, is this some kind of a test, or is he really serious?
You're 2 hours late. He asked you if you wanted your noise number.
I didn't know nothing
You were
about
spinning.
Jim
You were
Leyland.
spinning.
Right? And I'm like, of course I'm not going to take the manager's jersey. I mean, it's just like the silliest.
You thought about it.
thing
You thought
ever.
about it a little bit.
You know what? It was the day after April Fool's Day, and I thought they just kept it going, like they were going to tell me, you know what? We really didn't trade you. Go back to St. Louis. It was just kind of goofy. But no, I didn't take number 10. I took number 4. Doesn't make any difference. But it was really pretty cool that Jim Leyland offered me the shirt off his back first day without knowing me from that.
Did you ever talk to him about that, by the way? did he really? Or was it really a test?
Was
Yeah,
it a
what if
test?
I would have said yes?
Yeah, what if
would
you
have
said
happened?
yes and he was like, all right, go home?
Well,
No.
it wasn't ever going to get to that point. And I really never talked to him about it. Talked to him about a zillion other things, but, in the course of, the
probably better
great
not to,
times
though,
that we had, that was just a little snippet of something that was just kind of weird.
Spank, that sounds like on the Skyway, it sounds like a literal nightmare I've had before where you
Yeah.
can't get to the ballpark.
Oh, you scared of heights?
No, not the heights, but
being late.
you're late. You plan on coming early.
First day too.
Oh yeah, just a complete, I can't
You would have
even.
ran.
I would have had to get out and go. But yeah, we talk about Jim Leyland and how everybody he's such well loved. What did you guys in the clubhouse? What was the thing about him that you guys love so much?
Well, he just, it was just accountability. All he wanted you to do was come in and bust your tail. That was it. He didn't care. I mean, of course he cared how we did, but he wanted you there each and every night to compete. And, he was a guy that made the number 1 player and the number 25 player on the roster all feel the same. He was just, a guy that had the best feel for baseball that I've ever seen. It was just a pleasure, and it was something that you get to the ballpark, you knew he was going to have his game ready, and you better have your game ready. And talk about preparedness, he was what it was all about. Just a blast.
I mean, look, we've all gotten the pleasure of meeting Jim Leyland now, but I can only imagine playing for him, like the respect that you would have for him, because he truly practiced what he preached. He was hard, but he made sure that everybody understood that he was hard because he believed it. It was real, and that's what led you guys to 3 straight division titles. I mean, it had to have been so much fun to play on that team. Spanky, what do you remember about those teams that really set them apart?
Well, it was the biggest thing. We won a lot.
That's pretty simple.
Point.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's the best part of it. We won. And you show me a team that loses and gets along, that's not a good team. Show me a team that wins, and I don't care if they get along. But we happen to have, a great group of guys. Leyland, just really kept us all within ourselves. We knew that if we did our job, he was going to do his and give us the best chance to win. So, you can show up every night like that. It was just a wonderful experience. And it was not as hard as people gave him credit for. He was a softy underneath. He doesn't want to ever admit it. And he probably won't ever admit it. But, he cared deeply for each and every one of us.
I'm really happy you said that, because that's the one thing I hear over and over about Jim Leyland. And Spanky, I felt like you had that naturally. You always put yourself last. You make fun of yourself to make other people feel better. And you did a lot for me. But talk about that with your pitching staff and how Jim Leyland managed all that with you. You always knew where you stood. The guy just told you exactly how it was, and there was no bones about it ever. And I love that about him and you. You just shoot it straight, may make a joke or two, but you always get that real with people. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and it was great. One little thing, I was really hitting well, and Bonds, Bonilla, Van Slyke were hitting so well. And Leyland calls me into his office. He goes, "Hey, Spank, I'm going to bat you 4th tonight." It's okay, I got this, no problem. I'm the 7th hitter. I've got no illusions. But hey, if he's calling on me to bat 4th, I'm all in. Before I leave, he goes, "Hey, Spank, there's no way in hell I'm going to get fired." So it just he had that kind of rapport with all of us. He could joke with us, but whenever it was time to get serious, that's you all knew that that was the part that we cherished the most was his preparation, and the jokes were just I could be here with Jim Leyland and Bob Walk jokes all night long.
All night long. Both those guys.
And Spanky, don't leave yourself out.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short. Yeah. All right, but we have to bring the mood down a little bit. Sorry, Spank. I was told to ask this question, okay? So it's not my fault. But look, we're going to talk about the 92 season. You got to talk about play at home
really?
with Sid Bream.
Really?
You have
Really?
to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, he cursed me too.
Yeah.
Bad,
True.
Spanky, bad.
What do you remember about that play? How it all played out? You know, Francisco Cabrera gets announced as the pinch hitter, and then you take us through that.
Well, you know what? Until I saw Randy Marsh stay safe or give the safe sign, I still thought we were going to win the ball game. If you would have told me that we would have that matchup for the season, I would have taken it 9 out of 10 times. Obviously, that was the one time that it didn't work out. As we could see in the replay, he was out. It's clearly obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it's something that I've actually had some guys, technical guys, not enough angles, inconclusive. Sid has been an absolute pro about it. He's a great guy. We get along. We signed that picture of the slide.
Yeah.
I signed it. He was out. He signed a few. I was safe. So, yeah, it's something that it doesn't hurt nearly as much now as it did back then.
So do you? I know you're more of an old-fashioned baseball guy. I really appreciate that about you. You believe in the fundamentals and that baseball should be played the right way. But it kind of takes you into today's game. You know, if you had to review back then, you review that play, he gets called out. It's a completely different thing. So do you like the reviews? Do you like the challenges, or do you not like them?
I think they get overused for the wrong reasons. The time whenever a guy slides past a bag, his pinky comes off. That's not the spirit of what the review is.
Yeah.
The review is supposed to be a game-changing play. The Galarraga no-hitter,
Yes.
perfect game. You know, that. You know, certain plays at the plate. I think it gets overused. But, you know, that's part of the game. Managers use that, you know, to their benefits. And you can't take that away from them.
So, Spanky, I know something you do love about today's game, and that's the knee down. I mean, you love the knee down, the framing. Why don't you just kind of break that down a little bit for us and tell us how marvelous it is and how it's just a better version? I'm waiting.
You know, I haven't vomited on TV since Wrigley Field when I was struggling with the Rush Street flu.
Did you eat the hot dogs, Harry Carey style?
Now, you know what? I do come from a different era. I do not appreciate the way the game is caught now. I don't like the game being called from the bench. There's so many things that you can't see on the bench that you can see behind the plate. But in the catcher's defense, you know, all the way through of their maturity, they've always had their games called for them. Back whenever I was playing, nobody called your game.
Yeah.
Jim Leyland tried to call one inning for me. It was a rookie pitcher came in, and he wanted to see what he had. And we're up a bunch of runs. So I look over, and he's having fun. We're up by 10 or 11. And the game's over. Yeah, we win. The next night, you know, it's bases loaded. You know, 3-2 count. I want to throw a slider. I look over, and he is just tugging on that ciggy butt as hard as he can. Okay.
What side
and
was that?
He's paying no attention to me. Okay, this is nothing. All right. So we end up getting out of it. We win the game. I go in his office. I go, "You enjoyed calling those pitches last night, didn't you?" And he goes, "Yeah, well, yeah. So where were you tonight?" I was looking at you. And he goes, "You're absolutely right. I'll never do that ever again."
Oh, I love that.
So it was a point that he took the right way. I tried to make it the point the right way without accusing anybody of anything. But the game right now has changed so much. You know, when I played, there was Vince Coleman and Ricky Henderson, and every team had a guy that was swiping 80, 90 bags. They had multiple players with 20 or more bags. You had to be in a little better position. I believe that working hard can get you in a better position and keep you from receiving the ball extremely well. And a lot of that has to do with concentration and leg strength. And that's one thing for me. When your legs go, you get sloppy. I try to concentrate. I was never what you call Jack LaLanne shape, but I certainly had my legs in shape. And so I was all about being as athletic as I could back there.
So speaking of the fast runners, the Ricky Hendersons, and you said we got guys stealing bases left and right now, but how would you control the running game with the pitch clock and the holds and everything else? Like what strategies would you implement to try to slow those guys down a little bit?
Well, the number one thing is I try out how to fire Rob Manfred. That'd be the first thing. The rules have really handicapped how you can handle the running game, the throwing over to first base, the pitch clock. There's so many different things now, the bigger bases, a number of things that are factors that work against the pitcher catcher holding the runner on and giving the catcher a best chance. So right now, other than slide stepping, you really don't have much of a defense for that. And I think a lot of the catchers, whether they're on one knee or if they're like in athletic position, I don't think they have a chance either way.
Spanky, you almost threw out 40% of the runners, which is incredible.
That's crazy.
It's really, really good. You understood who you were. One thing that I love about you, because I genuinely care about the pitcher more than I care about myself, as do you. It's not easy to do. Would you call a fastball, he's going, if the right pitch was that slider? I know you're going to say no, and Steven's going to appreciate it. But how did you prepare for the game with that guy, right? You got Drayback on the bump. He's a softie. He's going to want to throw that breaking ball too many times. How did you manage that?
Now that's part of the game.
Yep.
I would never manage, or I'd never call a game according to their running game. I would call the game to get the hitter out, because in that way you would have less of a chance of having a big inning. You get that guy out, maybe the guy steals the base, maybe you still throw him out. But I think a lot of it had to do back then where Jim Leyland and Ray Miller were so very good at holding and stepping off, throwing over, occasional pitch outs, that it took a lot of less pressure off the catcher from calling like that fastball away, which is really the easiest ball to throw.
Spank, I like to try to get people to brag about themselves. It's kind of one of my favorite things. I think people are too humble every now and then, and I think...
Good luck.
I know, right? I know that you are a very humble man, but I just want to say, 1987, you win a Gold Glove, you bat over 300, you had just an incredible season. And I just want to know, what was it that season? What made you, was it something in the water? Were you feeling really good that year? Or was it just kind of a culmination of a lot of different things?
Yeah, I think it was just, I worked extra hard in the off season on the pitch away from me. I had grabbed a bigger bat in 86 at the end of the year, had a little success with it, and I changed my whole approach. Catching wise, it was just about maturing, and the fact that, throwing the guys out, it was a total team effort. It was the pitching staff. It was the preparation from Jim Leyland, Ray Miller. Yes, I did get in a groove. It just seemed like, the ball was just in my hand, and it was out of the hand, and it was ending up in the right spot. Got some hats off. Jose Lean used to stick his nose in there for me. Rafael Belliard, you get that throw a little up the line, and they were great.
He's talking about the guys tagging.
I know, you're talking about
Look at
other
you
guys. Come on, dude.
Hey guys,
that's why I love him. But
it's a team game.
Yeah.
You know what? If a guy is 1-9 to home plate, I don't care what you have behind home plate. You got nothing. You got no chance. It's a total team effort. And, again, preparation in the off season for me, I think I've just paid a little bit more attention. And I think I just matured mentally more than anything else during that season. I had 1 year under my belt. I had another year where, I get traded. I got to prove to this new team, this new city, that I belong. So there was a lot of motivation there.
Oh, so Spanky, the guys trusted you so much. You got hurt, you're up in the booth, and you told Bob Walk something. I want you to share that story of how it unfolded and what happened. And that maybe could be a little bit of a brag, because I've never heard this before, and it's incredible. So go ahead.
Well, yeah, this is, I had to play the plate and tore a couple of ligaments. And so I would watch the games. I'd come in, do my rehab. The trainers would torture me. I almost didn't live through it. It was horrible. But after that, I would go up and watch the games near the TV booths at Three Rivers. And I had a couple guys that would feed me hot dogs and beers. So I was a happy guy. And I told Bob Walk, I says, Walkie, if you ever get in trouble, look up there, because you see so much. And I could really tell why they have that in football. It's amazing what you can see from that viewpoint. So Walkie's throwing to Kevin Mitchell. And Walkie just doesn't have much for Kevin Mitchell, nor did 99% of the National League pitchers. Mitch was just, he was terrifying. It almost seemed like whatever you threw up, if you rolled it and it took a bounce, he's got a chance of knocking that out of the ballpark.
No.
So Walkie throws a curveball, and he hits a 9-mile foul. And now I can see Walkie on the mound, and he's got that whirly bird thing going on in his head, and he's trying to figure it out, and it just isn't working. And all of a sudden, our conversation hits him, and he looks up, and I see him, and I am so fired up, and I about jump out of the box, and I'm yelling, hook him again, hook him again. Walkie throws a curveball, he pops it up, right to shortstop. He walks off the mound, tips his cap to me,
Yes.
and I'm all fired up. It's just great stuff. It's a different game back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so good.
That's amazing. We actually have a question for you from Twitter, or X, whatever it is called now. But who was the toughest pitcher you ever had to catch? Who was the funniest? And what don't folks still understand about catching? Well, that's a whole lot. Let's start with just the first one from Pittsburgh Sports Central. Who is the toughest pitcher you ever had to catch? Who do you think was somebody that you think about that's like, man, either his stuff was super nasty or he just had no idea where it was going? Who was that guy for you?
Oh, that was real easy. Tim Wakefield.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Timmy boy.
Hey, you know what? You just lose your humility. It's the most prone feeling in the world to try to catch a knuckleball. And I basically became a Premier League soccer goalie, where it was just get your chest in front of it.
Did you use?
You're not going to catch them all, but you know what? Do your best.
Are you using a real glove?
Did you use a first baseman's glove or did you use a catcher's glove?
All right, so the first time I go to catch him, he's down in the bullpen, and I go down to catch him. So I used my regular glove, and my hands were good, and I used my regular glove. I box like 5 in a row, throw the glove down. I pick up his big knuckleball glove. I don't catch anything with that. That feels worse. And I grab the first baseman glove. Now I got nothing. First baseman glove's no good. So, well, look, the only thing I can do here, use the big mitt and try it. So I got into a little rhythm, stopped reaching for it, got a little more patient, and I got it. Well, I told Wakey, so look, whenever you go to the mound, it's the first time I caught him, I'm going to drop every single ball, and I might miss a couple. Don't panic, please. Don't panic. This is for a reason, okay? I want the other team to think that once they get a guy on, they can just steal. Okay? So during warm-ups,
I love that.
during warm-ups, Wakey's throwing, and I box every single ball. I get nothing, right? And I look over to Leyland, and Leyland gives me the hands up like, what are you doing? And I look at him, and I shake my head. I go, I don't know. Right? And it just, so now the first guy gets on base, right? There he goes. I catch it perfect, boom. He's up by 15 feet. Right? So I'm like, okay, plan's working good. Later on, say like second inning, they tried again, same thing. I don't drop another ball the rest of the game, but I had to, like, I thought it was just kind of a cool thing to do, to let the other team think that they had a chance, but now they didn't.
Did you do that any other way? Like, did you play that game? I know you did. I want to hear more of that. That was incredible, because who thinks to do that, right?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, naturally they're going to run. They want to run, but wow.
I would do all kinds of things. I would like snap my elbow like it hurt. I would round my shoulder. I mean, I'd be like trying to like loosen up, and I was just like, and I knew my little pop gun was feeling fine, right? Like I said, any little bit, being of the stature that I was, not quite so tall, not quite so muscular, not quite so fast, not quite so arm strength. I had to utilize my brain, and that was one of the things that, to me, my stature gave me a huge advantage, because guys didn't really think that much of me. If I was 6'4", muscular, all this stuff, I think guys would have been paying a lot more attention. But I kind of got, I think, a little benefit of the doubt.
That's great. I mean, look, Spanky, it's always awesome talking to you, man. We're gonna go to break. So we got a start time finally, 7:50 p.m. The game is scheduled to start tonight. And when we come back, we're gonna be talking to Bob Walk. But Spanky, you got a little more time? You want to join us? It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Good to go for it.
Let's go. We'll be back in a little bit here on Unobstructed Views.